Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
You're watching South Asia NEWSLINE and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 13th of June. India's PM Modi meets sole survivor and others injured in Air India crash. Rescue efforts still underway. Fringe elements cannot define India-Canada ties, says Sikh activist. And India slams US praise for Pakistan on terror fight, cites Bin Laden. And now for all the details. As India mourns, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the victims of the deadly Air India crash in Ahmedabad. Meanwhile, rescue operations were still underway as more than 240 are feared dead in the worst aviation disaster in a decade.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday met the sole survivor and other injured victims of the Air India flight I-171 crash at a hospital in Ahmedabad. The lone survivor, British citizen Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, was seated next to an emergency exit, according to the BBC. Modi also held a key meeting with top officials and visited the crash site, where the Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner slammed into a medical college hostel shortly after takeoff on June 12, killing over 240 people in the worst aviation disaster in a decade. The flight, bound for London's Gatwick Airport, had 242 people on board. There were deaths on the ground as well, with the exact toll unclear till the last reports came in. Authorities said they were still searching for people missing on the ground. Meanwhile, relatives of victims reeled in the aftermath of the tragedy at a holding area that has been set up at the civil hospital. A relative in the hospital, who declined to be identified, said he worked in the mess of the hostel and had left to deliver tiffin boxes outside when the plane hit the building. He said his mother and others were still cooking at that time.
मेरी लड़की और मेरी मम्मी दोनों
कहाँ रहती है? पहली बार जा रही थी क्या है?
हम लोग वहीं मेस में ही काम करते हैं।
अच्छा।
खाना बनाने का हम टिफिन सर्विस का करते हैं। हम टिफिन लेके निकल गए, मम्मी लोग खाना बना रहे थे।
Authorities have initiated a probe into the incident. Among the passengers, Air India said 169 were Indian nationals, 53 were British, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian. The UK authorities have also dispatched an investigation team, Britain's PM Keir Starmer said. Eyewitnesses at the site said the plane was flying pretty low before it crashed and hit the medical college hostel.
कल मैंने जब उसका ऑब्जर्वेशन किया तो उसका हाइट जो मिलना चाहिए थे वो हाइट मिली नहीं थी, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, दिस इज़ माय ओपिनियन, ताकि बहुत नीचे थी फ्लाइट, क्योंकि हमारे मकान जो है वो तो 3 मंजिल के, ग्राउंड फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड, लेकिन इसके आगे वाले जो ये सिविल हॉस्पिटल के कैंपस के अंदर जो डॉक्टर्स के लिए रेसिडेंस बनाए हैं वो करीबन 5 फ्लोर के है, ताकि मुझे उसके बाद में ऐसा लगा कि नहीं, आज कुछ हादसा शायद हो सकता है, अगर यही हाइट अगर उसके लेके आगे हुई तो वो मेरा जो शक था वो सही निकला.
And in a strong message ahead of PM Modi's visit to the G7 summit, a Sikh activist has said so-called Khalistani fringe elements cannot dictate the course of India-Canada relations. He called for a reset in ties that benefit both nations. A report.
As Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to attend the G7 summit in Canada, the visit is being viewed by many as a potential turning point in the strained India-Canada diplomatic relations. Suki Chahal, CEO of California-based The Khalsa Today, believes that this visit could pave the way for a renewed partnership that benefits not just both countries, but also the Indian diaspora. The ties have been strained in recent years, largely due to differences over the Khalistan issue. However, Chahal remains optimistic with Canada's new PM Mark Carney extending invitation to PM Modi.
आई थिंक ओवरऑल एक बहुत अच्छा मैसेज है, क्योंकि पिछले समय में काफ़ी कोई मिस जो गैप था, देयर वाज ए कम्युनिकेशन गैप था, उसको दूर करने के लिए आई थिंक ये बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है। सारी देश की और कितने कंट्रियों की लीडरशिप वहाँ होएगी और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी पहली बार उससे G7 में नहीं जा रहे और वहाँ आएंगे तो आई थिंक इन द लॉन्ग टर्म जो फायदा होएगा, स्पेशली नॉट ओनली इंडिया एंड कैनेडियन रिलेशनशिप के, इवन के जो लोकल डायस्पोरा है, जो इंडियन डायस्पोरा है कनाडा में, उसके लिए भी एक बहुत अच्छा स्टेप है। इट्स पॉजिटिव, दिस इज द स्टेप इन द राइट डायरेक्शन एक्चुअली।
Chahal strongly condemned the so-called Khalistani activists, calling them fringe elements, and accused them of misrepresenting the whole Sikh community.
देखो जी, कुछ लोगों की जो दुकानदारी होती है, उनको उन लोगों ने अपनी दुकानदारी चलाने के लिए उनको कोई ना कोई मुद्दा चाहिए, एजेंडा चाहिए, और वो उन लोगों की दुकानदारी, जब मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री नहीं थे उस समय भी इनका यही हालात थे, आज प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं अब भी वही हालात होंगे। इवन के कुछ दिन पहले मैंने इसको बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिटिसाइज किया था उन लोगों को, क्योंकि 1984 के लिए जो मोदी जी को, जो अमित शाह जी को रिस्पॉन्सिबल कहना, जिम्मेवार ठहराना, ये बहुत गलत बात है। अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये सो कॉल खालिस्तानी है, ये फ्रिंज एलिमेंट है वहाँ, और इन लोगों ने सारी सिख कम्युनिटी का ठेका ले रखा है। और लोग सोचते हैं, ये प्रटेंड ऐसे करते हैं भी हमारे साथ इतने लोग होंगे, हम ऐसे करेंगे वैसा करेंगे। नहीं, जो लोकल डायस्पोरा है, जो सिख कम्युनिटी है, वेरी हार्ड वर्किंग कम्युनिटी है, लेकिन उसको सप्रेस करने के लिए कोई भी ये मौका नहीं छोड़ते।
Moving on, after US CENTCOM Commander General Michael Kurilla praised the Pakistan Army for its role in fighting terrorism, India hit back sharply, reminding Washington of Pakistan's long track record of harboring terrorists. Responding to Kurilla's remarks and reports that Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir has been invited to the US Army's 250th anniversary celebrations, Indian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal pointed out that Pakistan had sheltered Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden for nearly a decade. He also cited the recent Pahalgam terror attack as yet another instance of cross-border terrorism originating from Pakistan. While General Kurilla had described Pakistan as a phenomenal partner in counter-terrorism and highlighted its efforts along the Afghan border, Jaiswal countered firmly, saying none of us has forgotten that Osama bin Laden was found and killed near Pakistan's military academy in 2011.
See, the record of Pakistan, of what Pakistan actually is very clear. We all know Pahalgam attack is only the recent example of cross-border terrorism. I would remind you that only recently the conspirator, one of the conspirators of 26/11, Tahavu Rana, was extradited from the United States to India. Obviously, none of us have forgotten that Pakistan gave shelter to Osama bin Laden. It is significant that the person, and you would be aware, Dr. Shakil Afridi, who helped locate Osama bin Laden, is still imprisoned by the Pakistani military.
And making Afghanistan one of the top 3 countries contributing to the global refugee and internally displaced population, over 10 million Afghans have been forcibly displaced so far, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees has revealed in its recent report. The situation in Afghanistan worsens due to various reasons, such as socio-economic conditions and political instability in the country. The country has faced multiple long-standing wars for more than 40 years, forcing millions to flee to Iran, Pakistan and parts of Europe. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees also warned that recent forced repatriations of Afghan migrants, mainly from Iran and Pakistan, are occurring under unsafe conditions, with thousands being forced to deport daily. Earlier in a report, the UN Habitat reported that 80% population of Kabul is living in informal settlements with poor healthcare, limited or no access to clean water, and lack safe green spaces. The UN Habitat has reported that 4 out of every 5 residents in Kabul live in informal settlements and marginalized areas. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees announced that the number of people forcibly displaced by war, violence and persecution worldwide has surpassed 122 million worldwide. The figures mark a sharp increase of 2 million compared to the previous year and has nearly doubled over the past decade. And British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer declined to meet Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus during his London visit from June 10 to 13. Yunus was in UK to seek British assistance in recovering an estimated $234 billion allegedly siphoned off during former PM Sheikh Hasina's 15-year rule. Yunus told the Financial Times that the UK had a legal and moral obligation to aid in tracking down what he called stolen money, much of which he believes ended up in British jurisdictions. Despite his outreach, Yunus confirmed he had no direct conversation with Starmer. UK officials have remained tight-lipped, declining comment on the matter. The issue is politically delicate for the Labour Party, given the family links between Labour Party MP Tulip Siddiq, who is Sheikh Hasina's niece. Reports suggest Siddiq stepped down earlier this year amid unrelated corruption allegations and had sought a meeting with Yunus, which he declined, describing the process as strictly legal. As a major push to strengthen regional maritime connectivity between India and Sri Lanka, India has decided to extend the Nagapattinam-Kanke-Santhurai ferry service with 300 million Lankan rupees financial assistance for another year, the High Commission of India has informed. This move aims to strengthen support to the passenger ferry service between Sri Lanka's northern region with India's Tamil Nadu. Since August last year, when the service got a restart, it has facilitated the movement of over 15,000 passengers, boosting cultural, economic and social exchanges. The latest move will ensure affordable, sustainable operations under the Viability Gap Funding Mechanism, the High Commission said. This decision is a result of multiple high-level bilateral engagements with visits from leaders of both the countries. Both the neighbours are also exploring new ferry routes and to expand maritime collaboration. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.